How often is the narrative that we have about other people's the conflict the truth? It might be part of the truth. It may have elements of the truth in it, but how often is it actually the truth?
Whenever I tell it.
I'm from Mongolia.
I'm from San Diego, California.
I'm from India.
I'm from Japan.
California.
What kind of positive experiences have you had interacting with someone of a different culture?
We learned the dance, the Hatu, the Hawaiian hula, you know. I thought that was a fabulous thing to learn.
Food, clothing, you know, dancing, singing, music.
Okay, what kind of negative experiences have you had interacting with someone of a different culture?
For Islanders, they like to speak loud or laugh loud, you know, like. For example, in this room, like when we study on trying to focus on what we try to write, and if there is other students sit down here and laughing, you know, like it's kind of distract you from your learning or from what you're doing, you know.
I used to work over at the cafeteria, and there was this boy this one time that he was hired after me, but he would tell me what to do. He was about 30 years old, a Japanese guy, and that was really hard. And after a little while, I was like, okay, you know, stop like passing me around, because it got to the point. It started out being like, okay, you know, will you go do this? Will you go? And I was like, okay, fine. And then later on, it was like, do this. Now you have to, you know, wash the floors or whatever. When he was like, you know, doing jobs that were easier, not as demeaning, I guess. And it got to the point where he just like told me what to do all the time, like really bossy. It was misogynist, and it got to the point I had to go to my boss, and the boss explained it to him, but he didn't really ever understand.
Body language, you know, so like in my culture, raising the index finger is not as bad, but people here take it as rude. I always use my middle finger, and that was totally misunderstood. And then one of my Mongolian friends, she came up to me and she said, do you know how rude is that? That's like a swear word in the United States here.
Since I'm from Japan, everybody in Japan is on time. You have to be like there before work starts. But since I started working here, like nobody actually came on time, and when I was trained, so trainer wasn't there to teach me, so I didn't get to learn, and it kind of frustrated me.
We have the Asian girl that just left. Well, I walked into the bathroom this other morning, and her the shower curtain was wide open, and she was just standing there, and I told her if she can close it, but she said no. So I just left, but I wanted to take a shower. But I couldn't go and take a shower while her shower curtain is open, wide open. And she also, when she doesn't use the toilet, she will stand on the toilet seat. Instead of putting her bum on the toilet seat, like she would actually like stand and then like kind of
squat.
Yeah. But then she told me that that's their culture, you know, like they do it back home, so she cannot cannot get rid of it because it's in her.
My roommate that I had a negative experience with was from Tonga. We didn't communicate very well. I guess in California, borrowing means something different than in Polynesia. In California, you borrow and you give back. And here you borrow and you don't tell people, and it's still considered borrowing. And they don't give it back. They borrow food in Hale 1 all the time, but it's not really borrowing. It's eating and technically stealing. So that's how it goes. For several weeks we didn't talk. We lived in the same room but avoided each other.
If I can avoid it, if I don't ever actually have to tackle or deal with any hard things, then we won't ever have contention and everything will be fine. But the truth is, it's not fine, right? Because the conflict doesn't really actually go anywhere, right? We're just tolerating it now, we're coping with it, we're hiding from it, and things don't get better. And in fact, over time, they can get worse. More and more resentment can build up, and it can become explosive.
I try to talk to her about it a lot, but she would end up screaming and throwing things, and so. And we also had different ideas on whether or not it was okay to break rules and like honor code issues and stuff. We'd have big fights about that because sometimes she said it was her life, she could do what she wanted off campus, and then she'd come back onto campus and exposed me to it, and so it was hard.
Really?
Because it was whether or not I was supposed to report her for what she was doing off campus or let it be her business.
You did that? Did you report?
No, we screamed at each other and didn't talk for a week, but we worked it out.
What kind of things she was doing?
Kava parties.
It seems to be those are your kind of your two, two options with conflict. Either you engage in it or you avoid it.
What would you want others to know and respect about your culture in order to reduce the conflict?
We speak in little low tone or speaks kind of explain things in more low ways, but no, in Tonga and Slower, they'll express things more freely and more maybe louder. So that sometimes I feel like I wish they could be quiet.
And I was like, you can't do that. And it was just his culture that the men get to tell the women what to do. And he didn't really understand that in my culture, like the men are more there to like help the women, and so they do the harder things. And so it's just an opposite culture.
More than you say from your mouth, your body language just tells everything, And then sometimes you think it's rude, and sometimes, it just creates misunderstanding. I always say you, like that, like this,
I would say like Japanese people are pretty polite. So like when I first got here, like some jokes like they say towards like Asian people, or I thought that was in rude way.
If they know there's people studying around here, if they think maybe they are little, overpopulated around there, they should just give some space for those people, and they could sit back or find another little place that they can be also be freely,
He couldn't see outside of his own culture. And maybe I should have done more to see inside of his own culture, but I feel that was not okay in the long run. When there's a cultural problem, I try and look at it from the perspective of the gospel and see, okay, does this matter in the long run, and does this, is this okay, if I'm looking at them as my brother and sister?
Well, no stereotypes, no prejudices. If you really want to get to know a person, jump into it, dive into it, and make no assumptions until you know what it is.
Kava it's not technically a drug, but it produces hallucinogenic effects or something, I don't know. But they say on campus that you can't have it, it's against the honor code. But it's cultural for a lot of Polynesian cultures, and so it's not part of my culture, but it is hers. And so she would go out to the parties and come back not quite herself, and sometimes it was hard.
You can often come out of a really nasty conflict with a relationship stronger, with objectives clear in an organization, with the obstacles removed or washed away, and that people are able to move forward in a much better way.
And then we discussed it and realized that we were different people, and that it was okay that we were different, and she made her decisions and I made mine. And after that we were friends. We were okay.
Well.
But we ended up changing rooms, so we had different roommates after that.
But I understand. That's why our toilet seats are dirty, because they let the shoe marks on. That's true. That's true. So I cannot change it. Cannot change that because it's in her blood.
Allegiance to the underworld. strangled out. They